In December 2020, I warned that the mRNA COVID jabs could cause a huge number of serious adverse events, including myocarditis, heart attacks and strokes. The warning, which I believe was the first in the world, was largely ignored. Doctors sneered and ignored it, and the fact-checkers denied it, even though the warning was based on evidence from the American government. And then a few months ago, I revealed evidence proving the link between the COVID jabs and myocarditis. That video had over 1 million views on brand YouTube alone. Once again, the mainstream media ignored the evidence. Now, at last, the mainstream media can no longer ignore what's happening. Sports professionals, as fit as you can get, have been dropping down with heart trouble. There are so many heart problems among school children that there's a call to put defibrillators in all schools. But the mainstream media is not, as you might expect, warning that the COVID jabs are causing myocarditis and heart attacks. They've found others, sometimes bizarre explanations for this new epidemic of heart disease. The Evening Standard in London says that up to 300,000 people are facing heart-related illnesses due to something called post-pandemic stress disorder. It's even got an acronym, PPSD, so you know it's real. Tahir Hussain, a surgeon, is quoted as saying he's recently seen a big increase in thrombotic-related vascular conditions. I bet he has. Thrombotic-related vascular conditions are a known problem with the COVID jabs. Wales Online reports that TV doctor Amir Khan, whom I have dealt with in a video before, says that the huge increase in energy prices is responsible for the increase in heart attacks and strokes. If it was the 1st of April, I would think that that was an April Fool joke. Maybe Khan would like to debate this and other COVID issues with me on one of his live TV appearances, or maybe he wouldn't. The Daily Record says that paracetamol, the painkiller, increases heart attack risks and the risk of strokes. So maybe that's what's causing all those footballers to fall down. The Daily Mirror in Sri Lanka says that the Delta variant of COVID can cause heart trouble in patients with no previous history of problems. And the Daily Mirror in the UK says that there's now a new miracle jab to save thousands of lives by preventing heart attacks. Make 'em ill with one jab and mend 'em with another. That's a pretty standard drug company policy. The Mirror seems to have become very fond of the drug industry these days. The Mayo Clinic in the United States says that stress and chaos can cause heart disease. Wow! I first pointed that out in 1978 in a book called Stress Control. I was widely vilified for saying it, but now it seems that stress is running amok. The Sun newspaper reports that the weather can cause heart attacks. I bet the climate change cultists love that one. And it's even been argued that all the heart attacks are caused by people eating too much good food. And there's word that vitamin D shortages can cause problems. Interestingly, I made a video about that very early on, 18 months ago, more. YouTube took it down, of course, presumably because it might have saved lives. Scientific American says that COVID-19 can lead to heart damage among people with no symptoms at all. Nothing. Secretly. And the big problem they cause is myocarditis. Gosh. National Geographic magazine says that COVID can cause heart palpitations, chest pain and blood clots. And Bayer, a drug company, argues that long COVID increases heart trouble. Now that's interesting because a French study of 26,000 people suggested that the symptoms of long COVID are actually caused by things other than COVID and are largely psychological. Even the wretched fact-checkers agree with that, which makes the report that 25% of companies now say that long COVID is a major cause of long-term staff absence rather interesting. What a surprise. People who took a year off on full pay now don't want to go back to work, and they're blaming long COVID. We mustn't call it malingering, of course. Governments don't care. It's all part of the Great Reset plan to destroy the global economy. The bottom line is that alleged long COVID sufferers are helping the conspirators. If you know anyone who doubts that the jabs are causing heart trouble, ask them to take a look at two videos. First, the one that I made in December 2020, over a year ago, warning that there would be big problems with myocarditis and so on. And second, the one I made last year, proving the link between the COVID jab and myocarditis. That was in November 2021. There are links in the box below. Those who work for the mainstream media will, I suspect, prefer to continue to suppress the truth that the COVID jabs are responsible for all this heart trouble, and will keep thinking up bizarre reasons for the epidemic of heart disease suddenly sweeping the world. How about this? All the people who've had heart trouble in the last year, is it because they have all worn shoes? What do you think, Dr. Khan? Could shoes be causing all that heart trouble? Thanks for watching An Old Man in a Chair.